Keffals. Alright, so I have a bit of an issue doing this video because I don't actually know where to start with this. You see, there's just so much shit surrounding Keffals that I legitimately do not know how to order this. So, I'm just going to list things as they come to my head and in no particular order, and hopefully you will start to understand who Keffals is, because there's honestly so much that I cannot put it in a proper order because of how fucked it is. So who is Keffals? I want you to close your eyes and imagine the best person you can, a most moral person, a nice person, a considerate person, maybe Jesus Christ, maybe one of your parents, your best friend perhaps. Well, now that you have that image in your head, I want you to set it on fire, kick it in a corner, and then throw it out the fucking window. Keffals, aka Clara Sorrenti, aka I'm gonna groom your fucking children, I'll get to that one. You see, when I say that this person is a radical, that is an understatement. And how is it an understatement exactly? Well, they got kicked out of the fucking Communist Party of Canada. Let me repeat that. A communist got kicked out of the Communist Party for being too extreme. And as far as I know, that is the least of the problems we have with Keffals. So that's a great start. So that's a really great fucking start when you're too radical even for the fucking communists. But there's another thing about Clara Sorrenti. You see, Clara Sorrenti, the trans person that wants you to know that they are trans. You see, they really want you to know that they, I'll get to that, are trans. They are trans and you should know it. Oh my god, you really should know it. You see, the problem with Keffals is that Keffals is a perpetually online weirdo. Keffals lived off of disability for the longest time, and therefore spent their time on the internet trying to get attention by streaming on Twitch and trying to ratio people on Twitter. Now, what is a ratio? A ratio on Twitter is basically you have more comments than likes, and in other words, that means that the person who ratios someone else is more popular and therefore is correct because they have more likes, while the other person has more comments. You basically see where this is going. This is basically a dipshit's way of proving themselves correct without actually proving themselves correct. I have more people agreeing with me and liking my post, therefore. I also said that Keffals streams on Twitch. Now, the reason why Keffals is particularly known for its Twitch and Twitter pages, I'll get to why I'm calling Keffals an it in a second. Again, you're gonna have to wait. Ooh, so much anticipation. It's basically because Keffals targets a very specific group of people, a very vulnerable group of people who will then, due to being in a very vulnerable state, will side with the person that they see as their hero or their representative or who is helping them do something, and basically become rabid defenders of said individual and rabid supporters of said individual. Now, which group is this? Well, I'm just going to drop the hype, and I will tell you it's depressed teenagers. You see, not only does Keffals like to use this group of depressed teenagers who rabidly defend them to basically try to get clout by ratioing other people and things like that, but Keffals also uses their rabid supporters to basically gain a very loyal audience. A loyal audience Keffals then uses to bully people and entire businesses into silence whenever said businesses, I don't know, host a website that's currently criticizing Keffals for things Keffals put out publicly, but I'm not there yet. Keffals also uses this, quote-unquote, popularity to, I don't know, get clout off of other people's suicide and other things like that, but we're not there yet. I'm just giving you a little sneak peek. But do you remember when I said that Keffals uses depressed teenagers as their primary audience, and uses them to get clout and ratio other people, along with other terrible things, but we'll get to that? Well, you may be asking, how do I know that they're vulnerable? How do I know that they're depressed? Well, that's because Keffals is a fucking groomer. Yes, that's right, Keffals is another internet fucking groomer, and of course, it's a communist. But how is Keffals gonna groom your children? Well, pick your poison. Maybe a Discord server where Keffals acts explicitly sexual with people who are confirmed and widely known to be under 18. Yes, sexually grooming children, I'm not surprised. Or, I don't know, maybe poisoning them and giving them hormones that they are not supposed to take until they're adults. That's motherfucking right. Keffals wants to give your kids bathtub-made hormones. I repeat, hormones made in a fucking bathtub, specifically without the parents' consent, while also ripping them off, therefore robbing them of their money, while also giving them mostly inefficient drugs behind the parents' back, which, even if they stop taking said hormones later on in life, they will already be fucked again for life. And before we actually look into why this is dangerous and the website itself in which Keffals sponsors this sort of thing, I just want to point out that as a trans person, I have no problem with people going and doing the transition as long as they're adults. I have experience. I know that kids should not be getting into them. And if they do at maybe like 17, then they should at least do it through the proper methods and not through Keffals, because the way that Keffals and friends do this is very fucking dangerous. But before we explain how, let's look at the fucking website with Keffals & Co. And now, before we look at the website, I just want you to look at this on screen. Stop listening to this in the background. Look at the screen, yeah? Are you looking at the screen? Yeah, this is the packaging. The official packaging of the products sold on this website. So, not only does it specifically tell you to keep it out of the way of parents, it's also got copyright abuse. That's just level. Meet Otokono Pharmaceuticals. Okay, great. More copyright infringement. Fuck. The description of this website has been changed because a lot of people were pointing out that this is fucking illegal. But you can already tell how serious this website is when the first fucking sentence on this website has a :3, a little ooh-woo face, you know, that sort of, the little cute face that fucking retards do on the internet. Looks legit to me. Let's continue reading this. What's this website about? We accept only Bitcoin and other cryptos. Alright, great, a typo. Crypto is both singular and plural, but honestly I wonder if this is just because the transactions can't be traced. It's almost like they're hiding something. Skipping a bit, you can see a disclaimer here. A disclaimer which was not here before, and which is a lie when you compare it with the behavior of the owners and sponsors of this website. It says, disclaimer, we do not sell or agree to the resale of our products to minors. Our packaging are just jokes, very serious website, and shouldn't be taken seriously. Now, this is bullshit because bam, look at the screen. This is the website's owner, and then there's Keffals. I'll just transition the images on screen, where they actively say that they want to transition minors, help minors to transition behind the parents' backs, and celebrate when there's 500 minors on hormone replacement therapy with these fucking hormones. I think at one point it got to 1,000, but honestly I'm working completely off of archives when it comes to these screenshots, because they believe what they say so much that they cover their own track. Now, I don't know why they're celebrating, because there is a fucking point as to why kids are not given these drugs, en masse at least. But we'll get there. I want to see the products. I want to see what this beautiful, totally not illegal website has on sale. Let's see. Guys, let's look at the screen and let's see. And oh no. Oh no, where do I start with this? Alright, so what strikes you first about this website? Is it the copyright violations? Again, by using, you know, material that they don't own? Is it that? Or is it the fucking prices? You see, this is something about Keffals that people often really fucking forget to mention. And this is the thing in relation to Keffals, where people who are covering the Keffals saga often just miss completely the fucking prices of this. You see, I said that kids were getting ripped off from this shit. Let me give you a little example of what I mean. You see that Stradiol Oral, which says there from $50 to $180. For starters, I don't know why the price varies so much. But let me ask you, do you know how much I pay for that Stradiol, which is oral estrogen, the ones you take in pills? Do you want to know how much I pay for that? Take a guess. Just take a guess. I'm fucking serious. Just take a guess. Pause the video for 5 seconds, and then come back and tell me, how much do you think I pay for this exact same thing? Alright, have you got it yet? Have you figured it out? Alright, I pay €1.50. Meaning that, at a minimum, this website is ripping you off 34 times over, and at a maximum, more than 150 fucking times. In fact, that's the thing for the whole website. The whole website provides the hormones, sure it does, but it rips you off on a colossal scale. So great, a website that is ripping off your children behind your back, making them pay more than 100 times over what they otherwise would if they just, I don't know, visited a fucking doctor. But it also poisons them. You see, this is bathtub hormones. hormones. Hormones made in a bathtub. Can you guess in how many fucking ways this can be poisonous? Downright fucking poisonous to your kids. Well, let's start off with the fact that it's made in a fucking bathtub. And because it's not made in a safe, sterile, and, you know, clean environment, injecting it can lead to you being fucking poisoned because the bacteria gets into your stream. Your bloodstream, which is far more vulnerable than, say, your stomach if you were to swallow a pill. Although that in and of itself also has some risks. Next issue may be the fact that they have to inject it, and if your kids do not know how to inject it and reuse the needles too much or don't keep them perfectly clean and in a sterile environment, that can also lead to some fuck-ups, such as, oh, I don't know, bloodborne viruses, gangrene, and internal organ damage. You know, those tiny little issues. But then there's another issue. You see, let's say, just for the sake of argument, that all of these hormones were made in a perfectly safe, clean, sterile environment, that the kids who get this know how to inject, don't overuse, which they frequently do, I'll get to that, and that every single safety procedure is followed. Okay, let's say that that is the case 100% of the time. You still should not be giving this fucking stuff to kids. For a few reasons. Let's start with the fact that it actively hurts you when you eventually do want to get the transition surgery. From Mayo Clinic, they say that you could get injection site swelling, weight gain, hot flashes, headaches, and so on and so forth. But then there's also the problem of bone density, which will make you significantly weaker. And if you're male to female, you may not actually have the, how should I put this? Well, it's on screen if you want to read the technical terminology, but how should I put this? You will not have the skin, the needed skin to create, to fully complete the male to female procedure, so they'll have to take skin from somewhere else in your body. I'll just leave it at that. Then there's health. From The Spectator, citing Dr. Hilary Cass, who says, a further concern is that adolescent sex hormone surges may trigger the opening of a critical period for experience-dependent rewiring of neural circuits underlying executive function, i.e. maturation of the part of the brain concerned with planning, decision-making, and judgment. If this is the case, brain maturation may be temporarily or permanently disrupted by puberty blockers, which could have a significant impact on the ability to make complex, risk-laden decisions as well as possible long-term neurophysiological consequences. In other words, taking hormones as a kid can make you stupid or make you a permanent mental kid for life. And this is a doctor that's saying it. I hashtag trust the science. You gotta hashtag trust the science. I wouldn't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I mean, a doctor is telling me that puberty blockers and hormones can literally make you stupid and prevent you from developing your brain. And yes, the website and other studies then go on to confirm this. So, Keffals and friends are literally giving drugs that not only may poison people, but also impact the transition itself. In other words, meaning that if you start taking this as a kid, there's a higher chance that you will not be able to go through the surgery itself, or will still be able to go through it, but in a much more, let's say, DIY, do-yourself sort of way, you know? And will make them be incapable of making decisions, difficult, complex decisions in their lives, and permanently stick their brain in the prepubescent phase. Meaning you may have adults that literally cannot rationalize things like you or I can, and who are more susceptible later on to making even dumber decisions in life because, again, they cannot form complex decisions. Good motherfucking job, Keffals and friends. This is what you are sponsoring, and this is the damage that people are doing to actual children, vulnerable children. You see, one of the reasons that a lot of people are transitioning nowadays is because mental health care has been completely disregarded, and there is now a detransition wave of people who turned out to just be homosexuals suffering from depression, or people suffering from autism, or other sorts of things like that. Meaning that your kid is not getting the treatment that they need, and is instead being groomed by these fucking children, these pedophiles, I'll get to that, and doing irreversible things to their bodies which they do not understand just because of these fucking people. They may just be autistic, they may just be suffering from depression, but no, instead of going to the mental health centers, these people, instead of telling them to get help first, are grooming them into doing things that they do not understand and will defend because they are that fucking vulnerable. This is fucking criminal, and it doesn't even stop there. Remember the Discord server I mentioned earlier? Well, you see, Keffals ran that fucking Discord server like fucking Hitler, motherfucker, but only if Hitler was wearing a skirt. And was about as degenerate as Tumblr. Wait, that sounds like I'm defending Hitler. Well, Tumblr, Hitler, basically the same thing, you know what I mean? In this Discord, along with on Twitter, before people started paying attention, Keffals used to roleplay with children, and along with other members used to roleplay with each other. And no, it wasn't roleplay as in one kid saying that he's Superman and the other kid saying he's Batman, they're gonna duel it out for the fate of the world or some shit like that. No, it was, well, how should I put this? Rather explicit roleplay, if I do say so myself. Very sexual in nature. Let's just leave it at that. And along with touching themselves on stream, no, I'm not showing that, you are now getting a picture of who Keffals is, or rather, what Keffals is. A sorry excuse of a human being, and it's already a stretch to call them that, with complete disregard for other people's lives, and whose only focus is on getting attention and fame for themselves. Now, let's take a breather here, because there's still quite a bit to go through, and I'm not going to go through everything this video, but holy shit, there's still some stuff I want to talk about. So, do you remember how I said that Keffals only wants attention and fame for themselves? While the attention part isn't exactly wrong, per se. It's just that what Keffals wants people to pay attention to changes quite drastically over time. So where do I start with this? How about posting sex tapes on the fucking internet? No, I am not showing you the full picture of what I have here on the screen. I am not showing you that, so don't worry, your eyes are safe. But it's this sort of shit that website Kiwifarms found out about and made a page on Keffals to discuss and, of course, laugh at. Now, about Kiwifarms, I don't give a shit what sort of people are on a website. If they say that 2 + 2 = 4, then 2 + 2 = 4, and giving hormones to kids is not okay. Keffals, themselves a Kiwifarms user, ironically enough, found out about the page, and, well, shall we say that Keffals decided to declare a fucking crusade on Kiwifarms, using their ever-loyal, totally not groomed fanbase to bully people into not supporting Kiwifarms, and sometimes taking Kiwifarms down. Along with, oh, I don't know, DDoSing them and doxing the owner of the website while claiming to have been doxed by the website because they shared things such as the aforementioned sex tape on there. Who the fuck is messaging me on Steam? Why, hello there. I wonder if I'm ever gonna be able to record something without somebody messaging me on Steam, for fuck's sake. You see, Kiwifarms found out who Keffals was, including their pre-transition identity. At some point, some idiot tries to swat Keffals, which I do not support, but Keffals decides to use this to their own advantage and tries to get clout from it, saying that they woke up with a gun at their face. That is until police said that no, actually we didn't conduct a forceful entry, we just knocked on the door, which revealed Keffals to be a liar. Another situation where Keffals lied is when someone that Keffals knew killed themselves, and Keffals said it was because of the gosh darn trolls on the internet, such as those goddamn Kiwifarms users and those goddamn transphobic right-wingers, saying that this was the justification given on the fucking suicide note, when in reality, another ex of this individual, Chloe Segal being the name of the person who killed themselves, their ex came out and said that the suicide note said that it was because of the extreme mental health issues and the fact that they were poor and were unable to deal with the economic difficulties. So yes, not only does Keffals lie about the situation involving themselves being swatted, but also uses someone else's suicide to try to push their own agenda, which is just fucking lovely. You know, I want to make jokes in this video. I've been trying to put some humor into this fucking video, but honestly, I just can't because of how fucked up this is. DDoSing and deplatforming a website for finding out things that Keffals themselves publicly put out on the internet and publicly spoke of, poisoning children because of their stupid fucking agenda, and using someone else's suicide to justify to the fucking idiots who support her, or should I say it, because Keffals is an it now, just to try to seem like the best person in this whole situation, when in reality I find myself himself siding with Kiwifarms on this. And that's despite the swatting. I would honestly prefer Kiwifarms to swat me 10 fucking times over than having to deal with a person like this. This person is fucking disgusting. But it doesn't fucking end there, because you see, with all of this happening and more, I'll get to that, with all the lying, poisoning, suicide baiting, what else could Keffals be doing? How about saying that Keffals' life is in danger and therefore they need $200,000 for a legal defense, only to then run away with those $200,000, go to Ireland, say that they're in hiding, only to then use that money on expensive shit, and then, considering that Keffals is in hiding, Keffals' life is in danger, publicly advertising that they're going to a Twitch convention where thousands upon thousands of people go. Because that's what you do when your life is in danger. You just take $200,000, you move countries, and then you go to these cool conventions to be with tens of thousands of people. And of course, the person propagating all of this stuff cannot transition themselves properly. Just look at this. It may actually be a side effect of using DIY hormones instead of, you know, actual hormones, and is getting rather chunky on the fucking popularity and the money they spend on fat food. But do you know how Keffals hates swatters, hates doxers? Keffals just does not like swatting. That's something that the right-wing bigots do. Not Keffals. Keffals doesn't do swatting. Keffals does not support swatting or doxing, which is why there is evidence of Keffals hoping that people get swatted, calling on people to DDoS websites, the platform websites, and who downright doxes people who were never involved in any of the fucking situations, and the owners and mothers of other people. And the media who were covering Clara motherfucking I'm gonna kill your kids Sorrenti, well, the media support Clara. Why? Because Clara equals trans, therefore trans equals good, therefore people against Clara equals bad. That's right, the fucking media supported this. Of course, the mainstream, trust the news, trust the facts, trust the experts media is going to support someone who will poison your kid, while also grooming them, suicide baiting, and doxing other people. That's just lovely. I fucking love this. Why do these people exist? Honestly, this is one of the fucking reasons that trans people cannot be taken seriously nowadays. This is one of the reasons that my life is so fucking difficult. Because when you think of trans people, you don't think of the trans person that just wants to transition and then live their own lives without bothering anybody, or maybe doing something cool in their lives, such as making really cool YouTube videos, which you should press the like button on and comment and subscribe. No, you think of degenerates like Clara Sorrenti and friends who groom children, suicide bait, and harass other people, while running away with their money and taking advantage of people who need fucking help to push their degenerate agenda and gain fame. Dear Keffals, please stop making us normal fucking trans people look like terrible human beings. Nail yourself to a cross, a very big one by the fucking looks of it, and fuck off. And to the people defending Keffals, I hope you enjoy the fact that your money is now being spent on Keffals getting fat and getting trips to TwitchCon, while the trans people that Keffals is supposedly defending will not be able to get their surgeries done in the proper way because of the way Keffals goes about this shit. Who, if they don't die, will just detransition later in life or be permanently depressed, if not completely incapable of understanding why. You, who are so pro-trans, who are so pro-diversity and pro-minorities, are unironically getting more children and actual minorities killed and hurt than the supposedly very evil right-wing trolls that you claim to be against. Got it? Good. Didn't get it? Make the 41% statistic a reality.